Michael, thank you for coming this evening. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Mark, and thank you all for coming on such a terrible ghastly evening. The last 15 years has seen the greatest reduction in poverty in the history of our planet. That is quite a large claim to make, think about it. And it's talked about, to my astonishment, hardly at all. But during that period, literally hundreds of millions of people who share this planet with us, who previously lived in dire poverty, are no longer poor. They're not all rich, but they're no longer poor. That is a fantastic achievement which we should really celebrate. It's mainly as a result of trade. It's mainly as a result of the globalization of the world's economy. But aid has played a part in it. And of course that's not the whole story. Because although we have these huge numbers of people, hundreds of millions of people who've escaped from poverty, there are still 1.4 billion people on our planet who live on less than £1 a day. Live in abject poverty, denied access to education, vulnerable to disease, living for the most part in despair and degradation, conditions which very often breed the kind of desperation which causes people to take up arms, to become terrorists, to do all sorts of things which could do us harm. So, first of all, I think we have a clear moral duty to help these people who share our planet, who are our fellow human beings. There's a moral duty to help them. But I think it's also very much in our self-interest, because the more that people can escape poverty, the more that they have access to education, become free of disease, actually, I believe, the safer we will be. And let's look at just one or two of the things which have happened over a slightly longer period than the last 15 years, which I've begun by talking about. In 1966, between 10 and 15 million people on this planet of ours suffered from smallpox, and 1 to 1.5 people died every year from smallpox. Since 1978, there hasn't been a single death from smallpox, so far as we know, that's been recorded. Now that is an astonishing achievement. And aid played a large part in that achievement. You could say similar things about other diseases, you could say similar things about polio and about measles. And here's another fact. In 1980, 4.6 million children under 5 died from diarrhea. By the year 2000, 20 years later, there had been a 2/3 reduction in that number, from 4.6 million to 1.8. Of course, still far too many, but an extraordinary reduction in the number of young children under 5 dying of that disease. Now, does any conservative think we shouldn't care about these things? Does any conservative think that these things are nothing to do with us? I very much hope not, because to my mind, one of the key conservative values is the strength of community and the importance of strengthening the bonds that bind communities together. And that means communities at all levels. It means communities at a very local level. It means neighbourhood communities. It means the communities of towns and cities. It means, above all, the communities of country. because I believe that countries really constitute the strongest bonds of all. But it also means the global community. It also means that we have to have regard to the people with whom we share this planet. So, for all those reasons, I am proud of the part that our country has played in helping to overcome poverty and disease and the absence of access to education. I congratulate the coalition government on the steps which it is taking to reinforce, strengthen and build on that committee, on that commitment, and I very, very much hope that all Conservatives will continue to support it.